Hey guys, this is Kevin at ChristianPhotoshops.com, and today we're going to be doing a brand new Photoshop tutorial, and it's going to be on how to create this picture right here. Now, I just created this recently, and a lot of people have asked me how I made this picture, how I was able to do all these special effects, and how I was able to bring all of the elements in together. And so I wanted to show you how I made this picture. So I've got my Photoshop file open here, and I've got lots of layers that I used to create this picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all of them invisible, and what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back down to the background, and then we're going to work our way back up, and I will show you each layer and each effect and each adjustment how I made this picture. So it was a lot of fun doing this project, and I'm looking forward to showing you how I made it, and I hope that you're able to learn something from it as well. Now let me go ahead and show you the pictures that I needed for this. Now I went ahead and did a sketch before I got started, and I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this kind of struggle between light and darkness, and I wanted to be kind of ripped out of the darkness and into the light, and just that was kind of the theme I was going for. So I needed a light bulb that was broken. So what I did was I grabbed a light bulb out of the closet, and I took a hammer and just busted a hole in it. And then after it was broken, I just took a picture of it and got a good picture of it, and I cut it out of the background, and then I used that in the project. And then also we had some pieces of the glass that were left over, so I took pictures of the glass, just put them on a piece of black paper and just took the picture of it, and also cut those out, and I could use that in the file as well. And then finally I needed a picture of myself, so this is me, a picture taken of me, and on the left side of myself is just one strobe. It's just one light with some orange gel on it, and that orange gel, it just kind of makes the light a little bit warmer, and it's going to mimic that color of the light bulb. So got a nice warm light going towards me, and it's all on one side, which is on purpose. We only want the left side of me lit, and then the back side is going to be in shadow. So just make sure you have one light for that one. And then I just cut myself out of the picture and was able to bring it directly into Photoshop and then start editing. So those are the pictures I had, and once I had those, I was ready to go ahead and start with this project. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and make all of these layers that I did invisible, and then what I'll do is once I get down to the background, I will start bringing them all together and show you how I made this picture. So a lot of fun making it. I hope throughout this tutorial you're able to learn at least a few things from what I did, and you're able to take those new skills and use it for your own projects and come up with your own creative ideas. And if you do create anything, I would love to see it. I'd love to see what you come up with and all the tools you can use. I would just love to see it. So you're welcome to send me an email or message me on Facebook or whatever. Just send me some of your illustrations or projects that you come up with, and I'll just be excited to see what you can make. So here is, we got it all the way down to the background. Everything I created is invisible so far, and we'll just work our way back up. But here's the background. This is just a picture of a field. We took it on our family vacation. We went to Wyoming. This is just more or less, it's just a boring field, and that's all I wanted. The background's not really that important for this picture. I just wanted a nice landscape to put everything in. The sky is really dark and boring, so that's exactly what I wanted. So there's our background, and once I had the background ready, I wanted to go ahead and start adding the elements to the picture. So the first thing I did was the light bulb. So I added the light bulb. Like I said, I cut it out of the picture, and I used the pen tool to cut it out. I brought it into Photoshop, and then you can see down here that I made I erased part of the light bulb down at the bottom in shape of grass. So I just took a brush and just did some really quick erasing down at the bottom, and it looks like grass. That way it looks like the bulb was just kind of sitting down in the grass. And so I did it right here where it would be touching the ground. I did it back here also. And then I added a shadow underneath it. So all I did was I painted black, or maybe it was more like a dark gray, and I just started painting some really dark colors right here where the light bulb would be making contact with the ground. Obviously, wherever an object hits the ground, there's going to be a shadow underneath it. So I drew some dark grays or blacks right there, and then we have our light bulb in the scene. So once I have the light bulb ready, the next thing I want to do is add the model, which is myself in this case. So I wanted to go ahead and add me into the picture. So there is myself. You can tell that the color of me is a lot warmer than the rest of the scene, so it looks like it's kind of out of place, but it's going to make sense later because we're going to add some orange glow to this light bulb. But I did want to make sure that the picture of me is nice and warm because it's going to be important to match up with that light bulb. So I put myself into Photoshop, and then what I did was added a shadow underneath it. So I just painted some black or dark gray and changed it to multiply, and added a shadow right there underneath my feet. And I made sure that the shadow went from left to right because that's where the light source is going to be, and the shadows are going to go that direction. Okay, so we got the light bulb, we've got the model. The next thing I want to do is start working on that glow of the light bulb. So I wanted to do a filament glow. So this is how I did this layer. So I made a new group, and then I changed the blend mode to color dodge, and all I did was I just painted some orange. You can see there's what it looks like. It's just some orange little painting with just a regular brush, and I just put that right over where the filament is. So that's going to be the brightest part of the light bulb. So I just painted some orange there, made sure it was a color dodge blend mode, and then I added a little bit more glow around it. So you can see right here with my layers, I did an atmosphere glow first. So right here is just an orange glow. It's kind of hard to see it, but there's an orange glow, and it's just just using a big brush and just painting an orange little blob of light right here. And then the next thing I do was I added some glows to the body and to the other parts of the light bulb. So you can see here's that layer. It's just really quick little squiggles essentially, and I added it on myself and my arms and coming off of the filament. So there's just some little glows that were coming out of the light bulb. And then I added another filament glow. So this one is just kind of a bright orange and yellow color, and I just added it right on top of that filament, and just continues to make it brighter and brighter. So you're going to want to make sure that your group layer, you have all of the groups in here, and if you change it to color dodge, it's a little bit too bright. But if you change it to screen or normal, or you could even do like vivid light or something like that, whatever you think looks right. But for this case, I think screen would be perfectly fine. So I've got all of the glows for the filament there. So there's off and on with the filament glow. So you can see what that looks like. And then once I had the light coming out of the light bulb, then that's when I started drawing all of these glows, these light beams that would come out and kind of grab a hold of me. So I started off with just a really basic shape for the glows. So you can see right here, you can see the little squiggly lines I drew coming straight from the filament. These are just white lines, nothing special, just a really small brush. And I just drew some little squiggly lines coming out and wrapping around my arms and my shoulders and my back and my leg. And so that was the basis for all of these little beams coming out. Now once I had the basic outline, I could add a little bit more of the glows to it. So here's the main beam. It's a little bit thicker of a line. You can see there's what I drew. So just what I did was I just followed those thin lines, and I just used a white brush and just kind of painted very, very softly where those thin lines were going. So it made it a little bit thicker. And then I added a little bit of glow to it. So I just added just some blues and some oranges, and I just made a little bit more of, made the beams glow just a little bit more. So I added that to them. And then finally I added just a few little sparks. So I just added a sparks brush, and I just added, you can see the sparks, just little points of light. And I just added that all around the beams of light. So there is my light beams layer. So there's both of the layers, the light beams, just the squiggles, and then the extra light that I drew on top of that. Okay, and then after I had the light beams drawn, what I did was I did some strong light beam glows. So right here I added a little bit more of some bright lights. Obviously I painted some white and really made that filament really extremely bright, and then I followed it out a little bit to where the beams are going around me. So you can see right there, I'm off and on. I made it really bright near the filament, and then I followed that brightness out towards the body. So I also added some glows to the ground. If this light bulb is in a field and it's bright and glowing, obviously the ground is going to be bright too, so I made sure that the ground had some orange lights on it. And then I added a little bit of blue glows around the beams around my body too. So just to add some complementary colors, I got blue around my arms and then kind of orange around the light bulb, and those kind of work together pretty well. So there's the other adjustment I did to the light beams. Let me go and show you all the light beam layers. So I started off with the small squiggly lines, then I kind of enhanced it a little bit, and then I really made it pop and made it glow really strongly here. Okay, so once we're at this point, I've got all of the elements in the image. I've got the light beams, I've got myself and the light bulb, and so now I'm ready to go ahead and start working on those darkness clouds that are coming off the back of me. So the first thing I needed to do was I needed to erase part of my body. So all I did was make a layer mask, and then I erased a good chunk of the body from the backside. So part of the head and the torso and the legs and part of the feet. So I just erased all of them. And then once I had those erased, I could start filling it in with some darkness and some clouds. So my first step for doing that is I just took some cloud images and some cloud brushes, some that I've taken, and just turned them into brushes. So you can see, like, this is just a picture of a cloud or some dust. And then what I did was I put it right where my leg would be. So the leg is actually kind of turning into this type of dark cloud. So there's what it looks like, and then you bring it down here next to the leg, and it kind of, my body kind of fades into that cloud shape. And so the next thing I did was do another cloud layer. So here's another cloud layer like this one. And then what I did was I put it up here near the torso and the middle part of the body. And so we got this cloud that's going right here, and it's just kind of filling in the parts where I erased my body. So once I had those two in, then I started painting using other cloud brushes. I started painting some colors. So let me zoom in a little bit. You can see what I did here. Let's see. Let's zoom in. Okay. So you can see for this layer right here, I started painting very softly with some cloud brushes. I started, bringing out the color in my skin, which is that orange color, and then I brought out some of the green in the shirt, and then some of the brown in the pants. And all I did was just very lightly just paint some clouds and some streaks going from left to right. And then I did it again with a little bit more. You can see the little cloud layers I made. So I'll just, it looks like just kind of like dust is just going through, but I made sure the colors were the same. So I sampled the color of my shirt, so you have that green color, and I sampled the color like of the shadows around my head. And so you can see that those cloud layers, those dust layers are trailing backwards, but they look like the same color as my body, as my clothes, and stuff like that. So let me show you again real quickly what I did there. So there's my body invisible, or part of it's invisible. Then I added the cloud down by my leg, and then I added a cloud at my torso, which were a little bit darker because they're going to be in shadow. And then I painted the streaks of dust and colors coming off of my body like that. So here's before and after with that darkness layer. You can just see how it's just coming off of the body right there. And then what I did is I needed to add a little bit more darkness. So here's my other darkness. It's the same concept here. Here's off and on. I just used some cloud brushes and some dust brushes and just kind of painted some clouds coming off of the top. So I used a little bit lighter color this time. So the other darkness layers were more of the dark colors, and this time I used more of the highlights. So the bright part of my shirt would be kind of coming off. So if that makes sense, you can see the bright colors of the shirt kind of fading back, just using just regular cloud shapes. And then I did it a little bit more, and then add a little bit more small streaks in here. You can see that I made the brush really small, and then added some streaks going off of the skin, off of the clothes, and then even down here you can see coming off my shoes. So look down here at my left shoe, or my right shoe actually, but on the left side of the screen, you can see my shoe is nice and bright colors right here, bright orange. So what I would do was I'd sample those colors and just kind of paint little streaks of orange and dark brown and just have them flying off of my feet. So here's before and after for that darkness layer, and we have all of the darkness that I created there. So you can see all of the kind of the fog, the dust, all of these little elements flowing off of the body. And so it looks like the light is ripping the body out of this darkness. And that's what I was going for. So that was the fun part of the picture. And at this point, I'm pretty much done with the image as far as how it's going to look overall. So all I really need to do is add a few more little elements. So I had some broken pieces of glass, so I added those to the picture. So I added one back here at the back, and I added one here at the front leaning up against the light bulb. So there's the broken pieces that I added. And then I wanted to add a little bit more of a blue glow. So I just added a little bit of blue right here at the very center of the picture, and that made it a lot brighter. So we got kind of a blue orb of light coming out here and making it really bright. And so that's added on top of everything. It's on top of the light bulb and on top of the smoke and everything. So it's kind of, it's pushing everything else back just a little bit. And then once I had all of that done, I started doing the color adjustments. So here's all of my color adjustments. I started off with just making everything a little bit darker, a little bit higher in contrast. And then I changed, I didn't want to make the blacks completely black, so I turned the blacks into a little bit of a dark gray color. And then I added some more vibrance, so we really made these colors pop. So the yellows of the light bulb were glowing, and the grass is really green, and so just a lot of extra saturation, extra vibrance to the picture. And then I made the background kind of blue. The background was just a little bit too gray for me, so I wanted to make the background a little bit bluer. So I just added a blue tint to the clouds and to the edge of the image. And then I wanted to make sure that the light bulb was nice and orange. So I made the light bulb colors just a little bit more orange. And so that's kind of complementary colors. If you look on your color wheel, blue and orange are kind of opposites, and they kind of work together very well. So I wanted to make sure the background was kind of blue and cold, and the center of the picture is nice and orange and warm, and they work together very well. So here are the color adjustments off and on. And this is just a personal preference, what you would like better. But I did want to bring some harmony with all those colors, and so I did those adjustment layers. Finally, I added a vignette, which I just did a levels adjustment and just made sure the dark corners of the picture, the corner of the picture were dark, and the center of the picture was nice and bright, and that just kind of brings the eye right to the center of the picture. So that's how I created the picture. Let me run through these layers really quick one more time. So I added the light bulb and the shadow, then I added myself, and then I added the filament and the extra glows on the light bulb, and then we even did a little bit of we did a little bit more glow there, and then we added some of the beams, and we added the extra light beams, and then we did the really strong light beams, and then I added started adding the darkness to the model. So here's the darkness layers. And then finally I added a few pieces of the broken glass, and I fixed the colors, and then I added a vignette. So that's how I did it. It took about 3 or 4 hours to make it, but I really had a good time making it. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you come up with your own project and use these techniques, just send it to me. I'd love to see what you come up with. But thanks again for taking the time to watch this tutorial, and we've got a few more tutorials coming up this summer, so check back soon. And thanks again for all your support and watching this video, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks, guys.